Hey, this is the national treasure, Nick Aldis, and you're listening to the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your host. He's a stallion. I am the enforcer. And Joe, pop quiz for you. Ready? Who's your favorite female MMA fighter?
Gina Carano.
Fuck yeah, it is. Love Gina Carano. Big fan of Gina Carano. Got to hang out with her at Elite XC in New Jersey in 2008 when she destroyed Caitlin Young on CBS, the first ever MMA fight on network television, and got super drunk, and her friend bought me Irish car bombs, and blacked out. It was a great time, but just big fan of Gina Carano. Just want to get that out there. Love Gina Carano and her dad, Dallas Cowboys quarterback. The family, just greatness just runs in that family, Joe.
Are you going to, when we post the show to the internet, we put it on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and those things, are you going to tag Disney in the tweet when we put our show out this week? I guess is my question.
Should I tag their penises in gold that they had on the Little Mermaid cover? Should I do that? Or should I tag the sweatshops in China that they get all their stuff from?
Oh, God.
Come on, bring it on. Cancel culture. Fuck you, cancel culture.
Man, it's been a brutal day. Brutal day all around. That's right.
Yeah, Hunter's pissed.
Tell him, Hunter. That's good stuff.
You know what? I want to switch from the negativity to the positivity. Can I put over somebody before we get started?
Put somebody over. Why not?
NXT Vengeance Day, Judgment St. Valentine's, whatever. I want to put over a friend of the show and wrestling personality and Beyond Wrestling ring announcer, Rich Palladino. Rich Palladino is a great guy. He was on the show probably I think when the pandemic first started, maybe talking about his role and his love of wrestling, and he grew up a wrestling fan, and he's been a wrestling fan forever. And what he's been doing on his Facebook is selling memorabilia and things like that he had, but it's not like a fire sale or anything. He's such a fan. He's selling copies of magazines that he had. So I picked up about 5 that he emailed me today. Oh, what an idiot!
You scanned them, send them over.
He docu-scanned. But I got 5 magazines from him, and I just like this. Look how good this is, dude. This is 1987, August 1987, Inside Wrestling, right after Dusty and Nikita Koloff, spoiler, won the Crockett Cup. I got a couple of WWE magazines. I got the second ever ECW magazine. Rich is awesome. He doesn't, he didn't hold the over barrel for the prices. It was totally fair. And I'm a sucker for nostalgia, as I know you are. So it's so cool to get these and go through them. And what I want to show everybody too, my favorite part, back in the day when wrestling magazines were cool and millennials didn't suck the fun out of life. They used to have like ratings and champions of each organization. And so when the magazines come out, I know everybody's so used to downloading the information, right? Back in the day, you would send it to the printer, it would take a couple of weeks, and it would finally come out. So the things changed. So the wrestlers that came out. So Rich went through and he updated as a Ute the wrestlers that took the titles. For example, in case you were wondering, at the time of print in August of 87, Nick Bockwinkel was the AWA world champion, but thankfully now because of Rich Palladino, I know that Kurt Hennig actually is the AWA world champion at this time. So it was awesome. Thank you to Rich. Everybody follow him on Facebook and friend him on Facebook because he's posting cool stuff all the time. So just want to thank him for being a true professional and a fan of professional wrestling and helping me get my hands on some nostalgia, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that's those are, I still have all the magazines from when I was a kid somewhere. And, when you talk about the title histories, I think one of the things that I miss from PWI is they used to produce an almanac every year. And when I was in high school, at the time, so you're talking like late 90s now, I'm dating myself, but all the information in there was about, the title histories, of active and dormant titles, pay-per-views, the cards, who won every match, and like all these things were in the almanac. And
I believe like the whole year.
We used to sit and talk at lunch during, in high school and stuff like that, and like quiz, ask each other trivia questions and stuff based off the almanac. And I can only imagine, now that's like 20 something years ago. So I can only imagine how big the almanac would look now if they still produce it every year. But I miss things like that where you can go, I wonder, that's how I would learn about stuff from other promotions that went when I was too young to watch and really knew what was going on in like the AWA and even the NWA at a particular point in time. That's how I started to learn about things like that before like the internet really kind of took off and I was able to just look anything up that I wanted to. So I miss those things like that. Sometimes it's just cool to have a book to reference and not always have to go to my phone for things like that.
Yeah, I found I think it was 2005, 2006 almanac with Rey Mysterio and Batista on the cover recently, and I was like, oh, it was, and they're like pocket size, like it's just so cool to have. And I was like, man, I wonder if I could get back orders of these. Spoiler, you can't. They're like super duper expensive, and they like if you're a wrestling fan, you have one, you don't want to part with one. I don't blame you. So wrestling nostalgia fucking rules. Miami Vice rules. Disney sucks. Society sucks, and but wrestling is cool. So that's, did I sum it up? Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it on the head.
Nailed it. All right, cool. Joe, what are we talking about today?
Well, we are going to talk about and give our predictions more specifically for NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, which is happening on Valentine's Day this Sunday. As you pointed out to me earlier, and I had thought about myself, I don't know why they wouldn't call it St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Takeover St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Seems like a great opportunity for that. But apparently people are going to be getting vengeance on Valentine's Day. So there are 5 matches on the card. 5 for this Sunday. There are 3 title matches and 2 Dusty Classic Finals matchups that will be happening. One for the men and one for the women.
Yeah, do you think that's like a massacre thing? They don't want to say the name massacre. I don't know why. Like why?
I don't know, dude. They could have called it NXT Takeover Cupid's Arrow for all I care. I mean, it would have just been nice to have some sort of,
NXT Takeover
acknowledgement of the fact that it's Valentine. I mean, they acknowledge everything else. Actually, no, they don't. They only acknowledge certain. That's fine. But yeah, I don't know. It's Vengeance Day. Should I just be going to should I be going after people that have wronged me in my life on Sunday and just hitting them over the head with a tack hammer or something? I mean, what am I supposed to do on Vengeance Day?
If I say something now, how hard is it for you to edit it out and post? Pretty hard.
I mean, I could figure something out if you really want to know off your chest. We'll figure it out.
Nope, I'm just going to text you right now and I want your reaction on it.
You're going to take the high road and you're going to say, okay, that's fine. So while you're doing that, there's 5 matches. As I said, those are the 2 finals of the Dusty Classic Cup. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. For the men, it's MSK versus Grizzly Young Veterans. And then we have a women's triple threat. It's Io Shirai, Toni Storm, and Mercedes Martinez for the women's title. Johnny Gargano versus Kushida for the North American title. And Finn Balor versus Peter Dune on Vengeance Day. I just got your text, and I am not going to repeat that on there. So,
how money would that name be, though?
Let's just move right along. So, Mike, let's start with you, and we're going to go for the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals. It is Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart.
All right, here's I messaged you this morning, and I was like, I have a couple of hot takes. And they were pretty much all about Ember Moon. I don't really get the appeal of Ember Moon. I hate to be that guy. She came back with like a cool Terminator T2-esque thing, riding a motorcycle, crotch rocket, which I think what the kids call them. Called.
Really going off the rails already today. Match 1.
Like she came back. Do you remember the Guns N' Roses music video from Terminator 2? Or no?
This is wild. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. One more. How about the episode of Married with Children when Al was figuring out how to compliment Peg, right? And he's like, Peg, you look, and then like you see like a camera, like a computer view and like multiple choice, and like option C was nice, and he selected it. Like that was like the virtual reality kind of thing that I thought we were going to get something like that with Ember Moon, which is where I'm really circling back with. So when Ember Moon came back, she was going to be like this cool whatever. It fell apart. She's got a different look, but I have not been on the Ember Moon bandwagon, and I'm also not on the Shotzi Blackheart bandwagon. But Raquel Gonzalez has improved leaps and bounds. Her and Dakota Kai are a formidable team. They're an actual tag team. And I think they're going to win the Dusty Classic. Dusty Cup or Dusty Classic? What do they call it?
It is the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but there is a physical cup.
The DSTTC.
That will be presented, not this like this, but something that,
It's more like a mug, right?
Yeah. So there'll be
like the Crockett Cup, but they're making it the Dusty Cup.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much spot on. So I'll be honest, I really this match and the men's match, I feel like they're going to try to balance out the two in terms of maybe like one babyface team winning, one heel team winning, and I don't know which way. I really wasn't sure which way to go, so I'm just putting it out there. So I'm going to go with Shotzi and Ember here.
Boo!
Yeah, I know. I just think that in the past with the Dusty Classic Cups, they've had those kind of like mixed teams win, not always like tag teams win it.
Yeah, I was gonna cut a promo on this later, but if you beat me to it,
no, that's and they seem to really like Shotzi. So I don't know that whoever wins this is gonna get a lot out of it because there aren't women's tag titles in NXT. Maybe the winning team will get a shot at the women's tag titles at WrestleMania or something. I don't know.
Maybe you fucking talk about it so there's more prestige and you care about who's gonna win the fucking cup.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this guy gets it right here. So I'm going to go officially with Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon to win the Women's Dusty Tag Team Classic.
MC
Let's go over to the Men's Dusty Classic Finals. It is MSK, and I will give you $500 on the spot if you can tell me the names of the two guys that are in MSK, what their WWE kayfabe names are, against the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Okay. Wesley.
Yeah.
Benjamin Carter.
Nash Carter. Very close, though. Almost had $500 in your pocket. Yeah, so that's the finals of the tournament. I think we were all afraid that Tommaso Ciampa and Timmy Thatcher were going to make the finals, but that did not happen. So MSK debuted in the opening round of the tournament. They've made it to the finals, and the Grizzled Young Vets are their opponents. Would you like to go first on this one?
Yeah. The Grizzled Young Vets. That's us. You and I are... Well, we can be the Grizzled Old Vets because we're old pieces of shit now. The Grizzly Young Vets are they're so fucking good. And what does MSK stand for?
I don't know.
They haven't talked about it.
I don't think so. I mean, if they have, I've missed it. Granted, I fall asleep a lot during NXT, but if they've said it, I have not heard it.
I've watched NXT because my routine is Wednesday night Dynamite live, and then NXT I watch while I'm doing cardio the next day at the gym. So it's just me and the phone and my headphones. I haven't heard it. They didn't know they had no idea who MSK was, so they walked out. They're like, "Oh, that's Wesley and Rick Nash or whatever the other guy's name was," and they knew everything about him.
What? I thought we were naming hockey players. It's right, Rick Nash, Anson Carter. It's the same thing. No? Okay. All right. You know what? Why don't I go ahead and give my pick since you're a little bit indisposed here. I'm going to go with the Grizzled Young Veterans in this one. I think that this is the one where an official tag team will win. They've been spotlighted since they've returned to NXT. I think MSK has gotten a good amount out of making it to the finals of the tournament. And they put on good matches, but I don't know that they're going to have them go all the way and win it. So I'm going to go with Grizzled Young Vets to take the Dusty Cup.
I agree. I love the GYV. They're probably one of the best tag teams that I think NXT has, or the WWE has in general. We both feared this whole Thatcher Ciampa thing because the WWE has such a hard-on for being like, oh, okay, these guys are going to wrestle a couple of times, and they're not going to like each other, but they're going to respect each other, and then they're going to make a tag team and fucking win a bunch of titles. It happened with, who was it, Joe and Balor, right? Help me out.
Samoa Joe, Finn Balor was one.
Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Roderick Strong, and Peter Dunne, right?
They made it to the finals, yes.
Made it to the finals, yeah. On the main roster, who's the other one that won?
I think it was Riddle and Dunn won it last year, I believe.
Yeah, right. The that whole thing. Yeah. And then like on the main roster, it happens all the time. Cesaro and Sheamus is like and they're a great team, but like they're not a tag team. Like, and so to have actual tag teams in the finals, you're not bastardizing the tag team division. So great job by them. I was really worried they were going to go the other way with it, but they haven't. MSK are they're good, but a lot of people complain that, like we were talking about earlier today, like AEW is quote unquote indie-rific is the word that people are using in their spots and all this stuff, and I'm like, MSK are right there in the indie-rific thing, and there was a spot that really stood out to me in the Ember Moon match, and Candice and Indy Hartwell hit this move that I was like, it popped me out of my chair. Indy Hartwell was holding Ember Moon draped on the second rope, and Candice hit her springboard moonsault, and it looked clean, perfect finish, and Ember Moon kicks out. I'm like, well, it's the second match of the show. That's Candice's finisher, but it's like now even better. And I was like, oh, it kind of sat wrong with me. Like those like matches where you have 400,000 kickouts.
Like you ate some bed shrimp, like one of those types of things. Wasn't sitting right.
Yeah, like I had some curry. Like I had some Tim Curry, some Pennywise in me. But I don't know. Like I think as far as tag teams go, Grizzled Young Vets are a more enjoyable tag team for me to watch. They're the more established team in the WWE, and MSK losing to them in the finals don't hurt them at all because they were like they had the rocket strap to them, and I don't think Grizzled GYV should be losing anytime soon. So.
Yep, I agree. So I think we're on the same page with that one. Let's go to the North American Championship. Johnny Gargano defending against Kushida.
I am a proponent of the Gargano way. The protein. Shoot?
You want to shoot, Cowboy? Go ahead.
Triple H is one of our Tuesdays. Gargano way stuff has been funny. I really enjoy Gargano. I know Jim Cornette doesn't. Fuck him. And he doesn't like Candice either. Fuck him. But I love what they're doing. It's adding some comedic stuff to it, and especially Austin Theory and Gargano have some really good chemistry. I find them to be hilarious. Kushida, out of nowhere, he was there for like a year, did nothing, and then all of a sudden he's this big beast guy, and I'm for it. I think Kushida's great, and I think they've done really well in making him feel important after for so long not being important. So I'm all in on this match. I think you should probably let Johnny hold on to it a little bit more. I think it'd make more sense, I should say, to have Johnny hold on to the North American title. And then they're really good stuff. And as far as the faction goes, I think there's money in them. So I'm going to say Johnny Gargano holds on to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they should keep it on Gargano here. I mean, it's all really been setting up to, I think Kushida has beaten Gargano in tag matches a couple of times or pinned him in different capacities. They've really played up the storyline of Gargano basically being afraid of having to face Kushida. So I think that this is probably the first in what will be a few matches between them where you can have Gargano somehow get out of, either get disqualified or interference from Austin Theory or something where he'll end up retaining it. And then perhaps at the next takeover or at another, TV special, whatever that they're going to do, you could have another match with a gimmick to it where Kushida might be able to take the title at that point. But I do agree that it would be important for Gargano to keep it and continue the momentum that he has with the Way for a little while longer. So I'm also going to say that Gargano will retain the title.
He just broke the curse, bro. He broke the curse. He's got to hold on to the title.
You're right, 100%. Let's go with the Women's Championship. It is Io Shirai defending in a triple threat against Toni Storm and the recently returning to NXT, Mercedes Martinez, after she has shaken loose from the shackles of Retribution on the main roster, has returned to NXT and, surprise, surprise, finds herself in a title feud right away.
Well, you know what? You take this one back. You go first.
See, my thing is here, I was going through, so originally they were building up Shirai and Toni Storm, which I am looking forward to seeing. And then they added Mercedes Martinez to the mix in a triple threat. And to me, this is not a situation where they should have had a triple threat because there's not an interwoven story other than like Toni Storm is feuding with Io Shirai, Mercedes Martinez came back and now wants a title. I don't think it's interwoven enough.
Question.
I don't think they should change the title. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you then, I agree with you. Do you think they put Mercedes in there so she could take the pin and then do Io Shirai versus Toni Storm at like Mania Weekend Takeover?
Yeah, I was actually thinking that, but only reversed. So where Toni Storm will take the pin, and maybe they'll do Mercedes Martinez and Io Shirai at WrestleMania Weekend or something like that. But I think that's what they should do here. So I'm going to say Io Shirai keeps the title. I was going to say that they shouldn't change the title in a triple threat, and then I remembered that that's when Io Shirai won the title, was at triple threat. So, but still, I'm going to say Io Shirai retains.
Yeah, I would agree with you on this one. I think Io Shirai. It's weird. I feel like she hasn't been on TV like nearly at all. Is it just me, or has she actually not been on TV much?
I feel like it's been less. Been less.
She'll come in and she'll do like a moonsault, and then she'll just leave. But no, I think Io Shirai should keep it too. I think she's done nothing but delivered as the champion, and it seems like they're setting up Xia Li too to be a contender, which I'm really enjoying. So I'm going to go with you on this one, Io Shirai.
And also, Raquel Gonzalez was the pinned Io Shirai in War Games, and then beat Rhea Ripley in a match which allegedly is Rhea Ripley's last match in NXT, and is now in the Dusty Classic Tag Tournament, and I don't think ever really has gotten a rightful match against Io Shirai unless I'm completely forgetting about it, and I'm sure if anybody listens to this they will correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like that was the direction they were going, and now she's not even in the title picture. So
yeah, the last woman standing match.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Triple H.
Wait, what did Triple H do?
I thought he was booking this stuff, no?
I think HBK's booking this stuff.
HBK's booking NXT UK, bro.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Him and Jim Smallman, I think, are booking NXT in the United Kingdom.
I'm just kidding. I like all the guys. I'm sorry. Continue. Let's go.
And the main event is Finn Balor defending the NXT Championship against the alleged number one contender, Pete Dunne.
Alleged.
Alleged.
What do you mean alleged?
I have beef. I'll tell you why. I don't like this. I don't know how long ago it was, last month or 6 weeks ago, they had a number one contenders match on NXT. It was Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne. Kyle O'Reilly won that match and earned a title shot at Finn Balor, again, which occurred on NXT television, and he subsequently lost, so Finn Balor's still the champ. Somehow now Pete Dunne gets a shot at Finn Balor, even though he lost the number one contenders match. And can you explain that to me? Does anyone have a reason why that's the case? Other than he just asked for a title shot because he said he wanted one.
No, I can't explain that to you. You know what would be better and have... I think the build for this match has been good, but you know what would have made it better? Pat McAfee. In some aspect, I never in a million years thought I would say that because I was so anti-PMAC.
Pat McAfee, yep, gotcha.
Yeah, but I was anti-antivirus for a long time, and I have come around to appreciate Pat McAfee. And I don't think Dunn's the greatest talker. This thing he does is cool. Yeah. And Finn Balor's a pretty good talker, but I don't necessarily buy Dunn as the muscle. You know what I mean? Like when McAfee was building him up, I bought him as the muscle. I might be looking to be big to it. If I am, you feel free. But you know, it's probably because he's a vegan.
Because he's vegan. I knew it. I knew that's what was coming.
I think that's what it is. I think it's because he loves Garden of Life sport plant protein. Made it a fucking peas. Dork. I'm just kidding. Listen, it takes a real man to get a bear tattooed on your kneecap. Kneecaps suck to get tattooed, so he's a beast. Yeah, I don't know. I think it should be a fantastic match. I just wish Pat McAfee was around. That's all. It's too much to ask, right?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think I think the match is going to be great, and I have no problem with them matching these guys up. I just the storyline or the build to it just seemed a little bit lackluster to me. I'm just saying in terms of how they got to this point. Like they should have had Dunn do something, like pin Balor in a tag match at least, which I hate them doing, but at least some sort of justification for him getting a shot. But whatever.
Yeah, or Pat McAfee to just be out there and be like, hey, I talked to William Regal, and he cuts a promo saying how he got Pete Dunne the match. Oh, you believe it because it's Pat McAfee and everything he does is believable. But
I just take wrestling too seriously. That's my problem. But officially,
no, we don't take it too seriously. They don't fucking take it seriously enough. It's not our fault that they suck. We said that before. Not everybody sucks, but like when people do shit that does suck, it's not our fault that we call it out, right?
Agreed. So officially, I'm going to pick Finn Balor to win this match. I think he'll retain the title. Again, I did not get to watch all of NXT last night, but the sense that I got is that the direction they're heading is maybe Karrion Kross coming back around again and getting an opportunity. I don't know. That's what I assumed because he never lost the title to begin with. But yeah, we'll see. But I do think Finn Balor will win on this show and retain.
Yeah, I think so too. Like Karrion Kross, the thing was weird. Like Scarlett came out and watched Legado del Fantasma. What's the guy's name? The Cruiserweight champion.
I think it's El Hijo del Fantasma. Right?
Yeah, El Hijo del Fantasma and Legado del Fantasma is the group.
Look that up.
And she came out and she was like calling him out and got in the ring with him, and then this 2 weeks ago, and then Karrion Kross came out and beat the shit out of the other guys, and was like, why is Karrion Kross calling out a 205er, which made no sense. But then I saw Scarlett was in Regal's office, so I think you're right. Was I right? What's the name?
It's El Hijo del Fantasma, but
the group Legado.
Yes, but his name is really Santos Escobar.
There's a lot of words. I barely have a command of the English language, so forgive me. So I would agree with you. I think Finn Balor is going to win here. I think the match should be very strong. I'm looking forward to it. Takeovers really always deliver. My question for you is, dude, where the fuck's the Undisputed Era? Right? Like what? None of them? Not one of them on the show? No Bob? No Kyle? No Rod? No Adam? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was hoping that they would make it to the finals of the Dusty Classic tournament, but it did not break out that way. I was Cole and Roddy. Yeah, Kyle, I don't know if he's going to get involved in that title match or not, but yeah, he's not been around. The tag titles are not being defended on this show, which is Lorcan and Birch. They could have gotten something out of that, but I guess they figured they had 2 Dusty Classic matches and they didn't want to add another one. But as far as tag matches are concerned,
they could have done. I'm sorry, I don't want to come on. Here we go. I don't want to. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. You didn't need a women's Dusty Classic. You know why? Because you don't push the women's tag team division. You just throw 2 single women's wrestlers together and make them a fucking tag team. If you had the tag teams to do it, you could have a women's Dusty Classic that made sense. But what you could have done is you could have the finals of the Dusty Classic in the beginning of the show, and then maybe the main event would be for the tag team title. And you're elevating the tag team title because it's in the main event. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box here, Joe. I'm just thinking of ways you could have put a button on this whole thing, and you have your tag team champions on the fucking show. We know they're going to add some pre-show match. It could be or Lorcan and Birch versus Legado del Fantasma and I don't know. They're probably going to add something. They always add, something last minute, so who knows. But you got to get you're having a tag team tournament, and you want it to feel prestigious, but you don't even have your tag team champions on the show. You have a takeover every 3 months. Fuck. I don't know, man. Just me. I love tag team wrestling. I'm a tag team guy.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add to that is I wouldn't have been opposed to if they wanted to have a women's Dusty Classic, they could have maybe done it a little bit later in the year and kind of split them up instead of having them go at the same time.
And you could have built the tag teams by then, right? Like you could have built the women's tag team division better by then.
Yeah, that's my only thought. I mean, I don't know if they want to do it, that's fine. I probably would have done it at a different time because what's happened is now these shows that are leading up to this takeover have been filled with all these tag matches, and I don't know if that's the reason or not, but their ratings have not been, the viewership hasn't been as good. So I think maybe that's what I would have done. Now again, then you go back to now we're doing 2 Dusty Classics a year, and it's going on for but I think you could have maybe done a men's one now, and then maybe done the women's one in July or something, and then you can do that. That's probably what I would have suggested if they wanted to split it up. But I'm not a doctor, I'm not a booker.
You are a booker, but instead of calling it the Dusty Cup, they could have called it like the Jumping Bomb Angels Classic and shit like that, right? Because, everything's got to have a name. But that's a good point by you. They could have done it at a different time, maybe even like a month away from each other. I don't know. But you could have built it up a lot more. I mean, they're becoming like AEW. AEW has 12 tag team matches a night, but at least the AEW tag team matches are with tag teams, right? Like established tag teams. But I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, you said, I'm not a booker either. You're the guy that watches the shows, man.
I would have just called it the Betty White Cup and called it that. So I don't think that can really get any better than that. Where can everyone follow us on the internet, Mike?
Well, we're about to be Gina Carano off of Twitter at this point. No, at All Night Long WP everywhere you media socially. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/AllNightLongWP. Be sure to follow our friends over at Wrestling Headlines, where you're going to find this show on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/Wrestling Headlines, I think. Follow along, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe. We're looking forward to the show this weekend. Looking forward to some NXT. I'll be watching it live because I'm a rebel. That's what I do. I'm live tweet that bitch. But follow us along, like I said, at All Night Long WP. And that's really it for another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. He's your host. He's a Stallion. I am the Enforcer, and we are tapping out.